was hoping this was a remake at least of the original Steve McQueen film. Hell, I would have dealt with even if this just was the remake with Kim Basinger and
Alec Baldwin. No. This wasn't a remake. Matter of fact, it was a warning. It's in the title. It's telling you, get away from this movie.
Get away, gotta get away.
Can you imagine how weird this movie would have been if, let's say, Selena Gomez was playing the role of Kim Basinger and having to sit through and watch almost like kiddie porn, see Ethan Hawke seduce her and eventually, get down to the nitty gritty with her? Is that something we all want to be in the theater to witness?
Selena Gomez, to me, she still looks like she's 14.
She does.
She's got so much baby fat in her face. Like, you ain't a woman. And every time, this movie is basically a vehicle, so to speak, for her to say shit and asshole over and over again.
Say asshole, yes.
Yeah.
Over and over again. It's like, yes, you don't work for Disney anymore. We get it.
And you know what? I thought you guys were going a little overboard when we had the Spring Breakers review, because even though she may look young, she still is like, 20? So she's like barely legal. Yet, when I was watching this movie, and she had that hoodie on the whole time, I'm like, oh God, you look like you're 10 years old.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah.
I wanted to wash her mouth out with soap.
It is a thing like with most of those Disney girls, when they do this, when they break bad, you go like, well, you do look like you got some miles on you, I guess. But with her, she could be playing a teenager for another 5 or 6 years.
There's no reason she had to leave the Disney Channel at this point. But I'll tell you, at one point I leaned over to you, Leon, in this movie and said, you know what, I can tell you what this movie is. This movie is watching a dude play a racing game
playing GTA.
While his irritating teenage girlfriend just cusses him out about it the whole time.
You're an asshole. Why'd you do that? Hit the green button.
Why are you going there?
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up already.
They should have just called this backseat driver.
Right?
It should have been called "Shut the Fuck Up, Selena Gomez." That's really what it should have been.
You're right.
Called.
You know what, Coach? You're right. That's the real title of this movie.
There are these moments when she's in danger, and I'm like, what are you doing, Ethan Hawke? Let her be in danger.
Every moment.
Well, he's being pursued by the cops. I mean, so the premise of this movie is that he was once a race car driver, professional driver. He's not anymore, but he comes home. His wife has been kidnapped by some mysterious guys. He's in Bulgaria, by the way, Sofia, Bulgaria. And he comes home. His wife has been kidnapped. He gets a phone call saying, I had your wife, and to get her back, you have to do everything I say. And I go steal a car and drive around and run over people. And if you don't do what I say, I'm going to kill your wife. And it can't help but go, no. No, I'm actually not going to be indiscriminately on the hook to you for whatever whim comes across your mind. I'm going to hang up and you go figure this out.
He's like, I'm a good-looking guy. I'm still young.
Look, I get it. You love your wife and all. You don't want your loved ones kidnapped and tortured.
No.
But at the point where the guy says, where he has you driving and says, okay, now run over all those people, that's kind of like I don't understand how anybody who is in any way moral doesn't just stop the car and go like, no, I'm not going to do that.
And not to mention this movie has a context below it that we're supposed to accept by the end, that when the cops have at least the vaguest concept of what has happened to this guy and why he was doing what he was, they're just like, it sucks, man. I'm sure glad you guys are all right.
Yes.
All right, y'all can go.
What blew me away is how this entire plot of this film is revealed to you during the opening credit scene. And that is it. As soon as the credits, they immediately rush you in like, this is what you gotta do. Yeah. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. And the credits are still rolling. I was like, I haven't even read Ethan Hawke's name yet. And because that's the thing. I want to warn people, if you're going to go see this movie, if you have any if you're just bored to death and you need to go see this movie, make sure you don't miss the opening, because if you do miss that, you're going to be completely lost.
Well, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
I mean, they remind you of everything that happens in that first 5 minutes over and over again throughout the whole rest of the film. So I don't think you're going to be that lost. It's a pretty straightforward bottom level story. It's not till later when he finds himself a situation where he's manipulated into having Selena Gomez, who is the actual owner of the car that he stole, get in the car with him and they're forced to ride together. They don't know each other from Adam.
Right.
That the exposition starts coming in to sort of basically build our way clumsily towards the ending of this film.
I felt like some relief at that point where they stop for a moment so they can talk and then kind of give you his backstory somewhat. I was like, okay, you're giving it to me. Because any kind of film like this where you have the mysterious guy on the phone that's making this other person do something. It's like, oh, how exciting that would be. It's like, it's only exciting if you have an actual, like, reasonable explanation for this. Otherwise, you're just making shit up.
If you have a plot.
Yes.
Yeah, which this movie doesn't. And as soon as Selena Gomez gets in that car, that's when this damn movie just went full fucking retard on me.
Yeah.
Especially when we get into the whole, let me hack into this whole weird system. This
She's a motorhead
system.
and a computer genius.
Yeah. Let me hack into this with my iPad. No fucking way in hell is that ever happening on any fucking universe.
I mean,
sorry.
we're used to in movies that sort of like, oh, look how powerful you can be over computers if you're a super hacker. But here, it's like this theme that we see all the time in movies. It's not idiot proof. In other words, even idiots can see that. No, man, come on. There's a point that she literally changes where a camera is sending its signal by twisting the lens cap.
By turning the button on and off again.
There's a big green reverse button that she pushes.
I know. I was like, is this the same technology from Paranoia, that other atrocious film I had to fucking sit through?
But the thing that's weird, like of course she's annoying because she's a teenage girl who won't shut up and is constantly bitching at him. But like, she sees it. There's somebody telling him what to do. He's told her, this guy's making me. My wife is kidnapped. And this cop's chasing us. Total, like, Grand Theft Auto style that I gotta run over. And she's going, stop. You're the shittiest driver. And it's like, wait, did you miss everything that's coming up in this thing?
Yeah.
Well, it feels like commentary, from Anakin Skywalker from The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
Every time she's in that car, it's like, woo, oh no, woo, oh, I hate you. Did I tell you I hate you? Oh, you really suck, dude.
I'm gonna go for it.
No, don't go for it.
Here we go!
That was awesome. I really, really hate you.
I can understand that.
Oh, to make it even worse, it becomes clear after a while the main reason it seems like she's even in this movie is because they have no idea how to film this sort of car action. It's very confusing what's going on a lot of the time.
This is some of the worst car chase filming I've ever seen.
They need her to have someone to say, look out, there's a thing, turn right, so that we have some concept of what the fuck is going on in the 75% of this movie that is one long car chase.
I don't know if it's listed on Wikipedia, but I think this movie ran a month over beyond its schedule, and they spent that month just filming reaction shots from her.
I believe it. I mean, because that's the thing. Even with the car chasing, it's like if this movie is basically being sold on the car chases. And I never really thought that you could actually make car chases, not just one, but several, just completely and utterly fucking boring to the point where you're just like, man, can this movie just end?
Yeah, you're right. You're like, please, no more. No more car chases.
That's stuff where it's watching police cars wreck in every way you can wreck a car, except they do it things like they'll close up of him driving, shot of the police car next to him, shot of him turning the wheel or pushing the gear shift. Suddenly, we have no idea why, but the cop car is flying in the air or crashed. We're like, what the fuck happened?
And something like they never explain, like he's told, okay, this car is special, it's got cameras all over it, and it's armored. And it's armored that to give you a reason why he can withstand all these crashes. But it's her car. And while she modded it out, why did she put armor plating on the car?
All I can guess is that she didn't.
Right.
But the guys did.
But they make it clear that, like, her car had only recently been stolen.
Right.
It's like that night.
Well, yeah, and if they had taken it and gotten armor plating, would they really have recreated the paint job on the outside as well, and the decals and stuff?
It is that thing, like it's one of those things where the villain has a plan that if you sit down with a calculator, you go like, dude, your plan does not add up. If you want to steal this, there was so many other ways to do it that couldn't go wrong, and you would have gotten away and spent next to nothing.
And I don't care what kind of armor you put on a car. If it's armor that you're still light enough that you can drive at these speeds.
Exactly.
He would have been a smoking heap in the very first action scene of this film.
Tanks don't take this much damage.
They treat that car just like they treat that iPad. It's like, come on, man. But what I kept laughing at is that they're in Bulgaria, right?
Yes.
Okay. And, every time this guy comes in contact with a police car, he ends up destroying it. And I must have seen about 30 police cars in this movie get completely destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? Bulgaria doesn't have that many fucking police cars, period. They'll be lucky if they got 10.
Well,
all right?
Well, something I learned about Bulgaria from watching this movie is that in Bulgaria, airbags are illegal because not one single car has an airbag in it.
Yeah, I learned something about Bulgaria. It must be cheap to film movies there because there's nowhere else that they could have afforded to make this film, this crappy piece of shit film. I mean, come on, this is.
Lazy.
Ethan Hawke likes to pick sometimes like those B films that look like they could be fun anyway.
Before the movie started, you and I were sitting there praising Ethan Hawke, how like, he can be in a B movie and somehow raise it up a little bit.
And he's the
wow, it's almost like if he had been sitting behind us, he would have cringed down in his seat.
He took this shit all the way to Z because I was making Z's, but towards the end of this.
I can see that like they gave him a rough draft of the script and they're like going, man, this is going to be cool because it's a concept is that it's really one long action scene in this movie. It should be really cool. There's very little information given. It's little pieces along the way. You'll have a hot chick next to you in the car. It's going to be really cool. It's going to go off that whole Fast and the Furious audience and it'll be great. It'll be like this big mystery and everything and lots of racing. What he didn't know is the girl would be Selena Gomez who can't act her way out of a wet paper bag.
Right.
And that the script was going to be absolutely horrible. Like just so bad there aren't words for how bad the dialogue is here.
I don't know what
Repetitive.
Courtney Solomon has directed before.
But
Probably Traffic.
Nothing
and not
anymore.
Even very well.
yeah, I was going to say, clearly not
Must
well.
have been the worst at it.
And like I said, and then the action scenes are so terribly directed.
They
It's
are.
like, come on, man, you can't have a movie that's one long action scene and have no idea how to film an action scene.
No, he must have gotten some American, what were those car chase, those police car chase videos.
Right.
That they always play on the crappy channels because that's what it looked like throughout the whole thing. And sometimes it didn't even look that fucking good.
There was one chase that I liked. And I will admit that. It was one
The
from
one at the end where it was over.
well, there was one right before that. There was one that was from the cam on the front of the car. And it wasn't even like, there was no crashing going on. It was just like following the other car. And I was like, you know what? This little vignette right here in a good movie would be that awesome kind of quiet moment that you would like.
Oh, you're talking about that long ass road trip that I was on until we got to where we needed to go. I was like, okay, here's something I've never seen in a movie because I'd have to be crazy to put it in a movie. Where are we going? It was like 10, 15 minutes of us just driving down the street.
And that was the thing, as I was like going like, you know what? I think I kind of like this. But it kept going and going and going. I was like, you know what? Even the one thing I could say I liked, they found a way to screw that
Well,
up.
and that shot, if it was a complex shot, I would have given him credit for one long shot, but it's not. All you have to do
Exactly.
is close down the other highways and do like 90 with the camera in
Yeah,
your
and
car and film. It's not really, there's nothing to praise there.
And I was like, how is this Mustang not catching up with this soccer mom vehicle that we're chasing? I didn't get that either.
Worst of all, this whole thing leads up to the most insipid sort of double level twist here at the end. Not only what the actual twist is supposed to be for why all this is going on, that you're like, wait, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's one of those twists where even Jigsaw would have looked at this and said, oh, come on.
But then it plays it off like this whole thing, like, oh, wait till you see who it is. Wait till you see who it is. And then, you know, you're thinking like a normal situation like that, the way they're leading up to and hiding. Oh, it's going to be somebody we've seen before, except you remember, wait, we haven't actually seen anyone else in this film.
Yeah.
So who the fuck going to be? And it's somebody who's on the poster, a well-known actor. And that's it. You're supposed to go, that was the payoff that I recognize that guy.
I would have been more satisfied with a pie in the face because that's kind of how it felt. Just give me the pie. That's at least something's happening. You know?
It almost made sense that it was him though, because he seems to like gravitate toward those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anymore, but it was just like,
God, I feel like I want to just to say, come on, seriously?
Yeah, because it is the biggest fuck you of the movie. But you know what? The
If
thing
you
is,
want to know, look on the Wikipedia page because one name we haven't mentioned that's a well-known name, it's him.
yeah, and I have to admit, I was giving myself a pat on the back because halfway through the movie, I figured it out. And all I was thinking was like, please don't let it be who I think it is because that's going to be really stupid.
Really? Because the whole time I thought it was Corey doing his Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. It sounded just like him. He even at one point goes, "Get out!"
But I mean, I don't know. The one thing that keeps like really hitting my head though is just realizing how bad of an actress Selena Gomez really
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I guess sometimes I've never really been too hard on her. But yeah, with this where it's she's doing a majority of the talking, especially during these car chase scenes. I don't know if it's just the lines or just her delivery or all of it
It's both.
together. Yeah. I mean, I was like, man, you really do need some acting lessons again or something. I don't know. Cause I've never seen her this like atrocious in a film.
I actually kind of have. Most of the time I've seen her and stuff. She's always been like on her show Wizards of Waverly Place, where she was likable in that she was the kind of like the evil sister. Not evil, but just mean. Like they wrote stuff for her that was funny, but I would like look at her delivery sometime and go like, it's not really that good.
I got a question though, real quick. Like, what the fuck are you doing watching that show?
Hey man, unlike
What the
you
hell's
guys,
going on?
I take in some of everything. I know stuff is
Oh,
out
do
there.
you?
Yes.
And who's giving me shit about the Spring Breakers thing? At least I'm not stalking a TV show.
Unlike you, I'm not masturbating while I watch this show.
Oh, are you now? Well, hold on. Let me get out my camera and my iPad
Wait,
here.
hold on. What do you mean, unlike you guys, I take in some of everything? You want to go toe-to-toe with me for sheer amount of watching hours?
Well,
son,
I ain't crazy.
Son, you're going to go down.
How many
I'm
Nickelodeon?
just selective
Oh,
about
okay.
what I
So, what's your
watch.
favorite episode of Wizards of Waverly
Yeah, I
Place?
know.
Uh-huh. That's what I thought.
How many Nickelodeon shows are you watching, Cyrus? What the hell?
I don't think I'm the right audience for them to judge.
Oh my God.
But that being said, Selena Gomez, you got to say one thing. I mean, in her defense, we've already agreed that this director is awful. We've
Yep.
already agreed that this dialogue is written terribly. Just as much as a really great director can make a mediocre actor look great, a really terrible director can make a great actor look awful. And I'm certainly not suggesting Selena Gomez
I
is a
hope you're
great
not.
actress, but she's probably not quite as bad as she looks in
Sure.
this film.
Sure. Yeah. If you got nobody giving you, direction, what can you do?
And Ethan Hawke just looks bored.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Well,
I forget he was in the movie, even though he's doing all the
even though
driving.
he's in every shot.
Yeah, there's two people in this movie.
He's like, well, my body's here. That's all. That's all you get.
You have my body. You'll never have my soul. All right. Well, we've said about everything there is to say about this film at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and give my rating. This is some old bullshit. If I was sitting there watching this movie going, well, I guess it's a rental, but it just kept getting worse and worse and more banal and stupid. And by the end, I was like, I was hoping there'd be at least one car chase that I enjoyed, but it couldn't even give me that. So no, it's some old bullshit.
I'm right there with you where I was just trying to man, usually with these days with these movies, I'm like, look, there's somebody out there who can enjoy it, or it's not totally fucking me over. Maybe somehow I can give it a low rental. And by the time it started winding down, I was so bored by all the car chases. I'm like, oh, it's going to be hard not to give this some old bullshit. But then it gave me the end where I was like, oh, never mind. Fuck you.
Wow. Nice. Wow. Well, it's terrible. It really does drain you, especially when you're watching those car chases, which I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
I mean, when Hot Wheels commercials when those commercials look far more exciting than what this movie can give you.
You know what? The more I think about it, why didn't the cops ever bother to shoot out the tires or even use a spike strip? You know what? This movie is a fuck you.
I had more fun driving home
I know, me too,
than I
right?
did watching the car chases in this film.